All right, so today we're going to talk about the cryptocurrency Render. This is one that I've held for quite a while. I believe in it because it's a utility coin that I think not only is doing well now, but is going to grow astronomically into the future, and we'll get to that. Now let me say as my disclaimer, I'm Brian. I'm a big dumb animal. Don't do what I do. This is not financial advice. It's informational purposes only. I present things as I see them, and I will tell you, like example, I'm always straightforward, and I say, I happen to own Render. And by the end of this video, you'll realize I wish I had a lot more at today's price. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button. It helps me out tremendously. Also, I'm very curious who may already hold Render or may be considering buying it. So leave a comment and say, I have it or I don't have it. I'm curious of those who are viewing it, how you got to me in this video. Did you get here because you owned it and you were looking for more information? Just leave the comment and say, I own it. Or did you get here because you're doing research on it and you want to learn about Render? In that case, just say, I don't own it. If you go to my page on YouTube, my channel page, you can actually join as a member. I also down below have a school community, has a monthly fee. I have all kinds of instructional videos. And if you're in the community, we can correspond, ask me questions. And even if you want tutorials on something I don't already have, tell me and I'll probably create them. All right, let's get into Render. So what you just saw was rendered. I believe it was rendered on the Render network. The reason they chose that name is because that's the term for taking the raw materials and then putting them into a final format like the video you saw. It also has applications in AI, and we'll talk about that. First, the background of how it got started. So this is the company called Atoy makes the software that you would interact with, almost like Adobe for design, there for 3D imaging and that sort of thing. And then you hook it up to computers to create your final rendering. So Atoy was created by this gentleman, Julius Arbach, who then created Render because he saw a need. So essentially, if you're using this Atoy software, what you can do is you either have to have the compute power to render the final or create the final rendering, or he realized that because these resources are so expensive that some people might just want to rent them. So the model, the business is being used, and the model makes perfect sense. Let me give you an analogy. Analogy is if you've ever gone to Home Depot, you realize you can buy tools to do all kinds of stuff. You can also go and rent tools because sometimes it's very expensive, the particular tool that you want, but you may only need to use it once or a couple times a year. So some of these projects, a company may only need to do a particular rendering, a certain, maybe once a week or a month, whatever it may be. So they just want to pay for the usage. They're Nvidia GPUs. And they're expensive enterprise ones. They range from, I think, 2,000 to like 15 or maybe even 25,000 per GPU. So obviously there's a barrier to entry if you're a small company. In other words, if you want to render something, do you want to go buy 10 or 20 of these? Well, that could be very cost prohibitive. If they're $25,000 and you need 8 of them, that's 200 grand. And some, if you've probably read, when it comes to AI, we're talking hundreds or thousands of these things are needed. So this is going to lower, or it has lowered the barriers to entry for smaller companies that don't want to invest in the infrastructure. So that's from the side of using it. From the standpoint of if you have invested in the infrastructure, one of two things could happen. You might have 100, but you have a project that needs to be done faster, so you need 200. So you have yours and then you add others through the Render network. Or you have those 100 and they're sitting around not being used. Wouldn't it be nice if when you look at your company's financials, you say, you know what, we now have an asset that can generate income when we're not using it, and you join this network. So from the user standpoint, the software, when you hit render, you use their service, it sends it out, does the work, and comes back much faster, and you don't have to have that infrastructure. Essentially, it's in the category of decentralized physical infrastructure. Let's take a look at that. If you look at other cryptos, this is DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure. In other words, instead of having all the computers, you're utilizing others. BitTensor, Filecoin, Render. Render is at number 49 in terms of market cap in the top 50 coins. So it's a large market cap coin. I think it stands out tremendously. Filecoin is more about data storage, and BitTensor's a little more specific to incentivizing people to help train AI. I'm not really sure why it's here, but I would say they all fit decentralized physical infrastructure. But when it comes to video rendering, Render is number one. I don't know of any other that has the size of network that they have. Two, it just so happens that those expensive GPUs are also what they use for AI. And as we believe, personally, AI is just beginning and exploding. And they've got a network that people are going to need to use because it's expensive. They obviously are in two completely different industries, and I think they're number one in both. Decentralized physical infrastructure, GPUs for AI and for rendering. Distributed GPU render network, and you come down here and they've got their various verticals. Artists, they talk about how artists can use the render network. Node operators, it discusses if you've got GPUs, you want to earn money from them, how you do that. Compute clients, this is talking about those that just want the compute power, if you will, for AI. And then, of course, if you're an agency and you want to utilize the network. So those are essentially their addressable markets. Now let's look at the crypto. It has about 80% in circulation of its coins. Total supply, let's see, max supply 644 million, circulating 517. So the market cap is 1.6 billion at the moment, fully diluted around 2. Typical things you look at, is it available in many markets? 23 pages of them. It's available on every market you want to be on. Again, it's a top 50 coin. Like I said, that's huge in my mind. When you want to try to decrease your risk, you're going for some larger cap coins. When you go for some of the larger cap coins, you say to yourself, well, for a 2 billion coin to grow, to 5x, that's 10 billion. That's kind of a long stretch. That's different than investing in something that might be a 10 million market cap. However, I say you're decreasing your risk because this is a first mover advantage. It's one of the largest. It's top in the space. It's on every single exchange out there. So this one may not have the higher multiples, but odds are it should be one of the safer. And I say that, safer crypto. What crypto's safe? However, look at the pricing. This makes me want to cry because I can't remember what my average is, but I'm pretty sure it's around $8. So this was last summer. It was around $13. Right now, it's $3.20. As you can see, since last summer, the price action, the lowest was barely lower than where it is now. It might have been high 2s, low 3s. So why is this so interesting? Well, there are people, that have it at 12 or 13. There are people that have it here around 10. There are people that have it around 9. So if you were to be able to buy it now, and I wish I could buy a bunch, but I've already allocated most of my funds, I might move some because I wasn't paying attention to how low it had actually gotten. Those that have it at 9, if you buy it here, when they break even and they're jumping up and down that they've broken even like myself, you've made a 3x or a 3.5x or a 4x just to hit last summer's highs. So even though this is a very large, it's a top 50 coin with a large market cap, I believe that this has, because of how low the price has gotten beaten down, I have no idea where this is going to go. $30 would not surprise me. It's not financial advice, but in terms of how low the market is now and where we believe it may go, this is one that I like so much that it's one of the few that I actually hold personally, but I also hold in a retirement account because I'm not sure whether or not I would sell it in that retirement account. When I look across crypto, I like utility. I like something that has a use case and something that makes sense. This makes perfect sense. You've completely changed the model. We all know what cloud computing is. We all know about AWS and renting computer services as you need them. So this makes perfect sense, and the market was going to go there one way or another. It was getting to this point, and Render got there first. And they have the high-end GPUs, and they've been beaten down. So in my book, this is a great buy. Do whatever you want. Again, not financial advice. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Let's all make generational wealth together with crypto. Thanks for watching.